Welcome everyone to Pawtucket. We're so thrilled to be here this evening. I'm so very happy and excited to see all of you come out. A lot of support locally and also throughout people here throughout the state. So I'm very thankful for all of you who have come out to support as we make our announcement. So the much anticipated announcement this year in our 2024 election, I'm going to be running for mayor of Pawtucket. I'm very excited. We have the potential to change the direction of Pawtucket. We can continue on the path that we've been on for the last 14 years, just surviving, watching our taxes increase every year, watching business after businesses leave the city. We know we've lost so much. We know there's a list of businesses that used to be here that are no longer in the city. We think of the big ones like the hospital. That was one of our big hospitals in the state that is no longer in Pawtucket, Pawtucket Memorial. We think of the Pawtucket Paw Sox that have left the city, moved into Massachusetts, and now as we look at an enormous project there at the McCoy Stadium site of building a high school, one combined high school for the city. Instead of having our team that we've all grew up going to and watching every summer, the GAM Theater has left. They went to Warwick. Again, so these are just some businesses that, to name a few just off the top of my head, that are no longer here in the city, no longer part of our community. So economic growth is a big thing that I'm going to be focused on and talking about a lot throughout my campaign. And then once I become mayor, we're going to focus on economic growth. We must see economic growth in the city. Is the soccer stadium the answer to this economic growth? We don't know.
What soccer stadium?
The one that's supposed to be coming. We don't know yet. It's hard to say if that's going to be the answer. I believe that the current administration is counting on that to be the answer, as they put a lot of eggs in that basket of lots and lots of money, manpower, effort, time into a privately owned stadium, something that the city isn't even going to benefit from as owning it or being able to collect any sort of revenue from it. So again, is that going to be our answer? It's way too early to tell, but it seems like that's what our current administration is hoping for and banking on, instead of putting in the work and the effort and trying to grow, try and get our economy going and moving in the right direction. As we know, as we talk about the stadium, we the taxpayers were committed to give the privately owned stadium $27 million to help them. And I'm sure, as many of you know, as the articles have come out lately, that the bond to borrow the $27 million over 30 years is actually going to end up costing us, the taxpayers, $132 million. So $132 million to borrow $27 million seems like not a great direction, or the right direction that we would want to be going as a city or as a state. So again, these things, giving all this money to a private company, is this the answer to our economic growth here in Pawtucket? I don't think it is. We need real economic growth. We need businesses to come to Pawtucket to create, for job creation, and as well as sharing the tax burden. As all of you who are here that live in Pawtucket know, that the Pawtucket homeowner, through our property tax, is shouldering the burden right now. We are, year after year, our taxes increase as businesses leave, as our pool of money gets smaller and smaller. So therefore, we have to depend on that property owner through our property tax in order to float the city. And so with my economic growth plan, we need to see businesses come. We need to see, and I'm not saying that we're going to extra tax on businesses, nothing like that. But the more businesses we have, the more we're able to spread that burden and relieve our property owners from having to pay absorbent amount of taxes to keep the city going, just because there aren't enough businesses to share in that burden of our taxes. So when we are able to get taxes, or when we are able to get businesses here to come, another thing we have to stop doing is stop giving sweetheart deals to private companies where we're offering 30 years of no taxes in order to get businesses to come here. Yes, we need to be attractive to businesses, and I'm not saying that we won't help and we won't try to do everything we can to get businesses here, because we know as part of economic growth we need to be attractive to businesses, but we can't just sell the city in order to get somebody to come, because it's of no benefit to anyone if we have people here that are not paying their fair share, that aren't relieving that tax burden from us property owners. We can be attractive to businesses. We're the gateway to Rhode Island. We're the first city that you see as you enter the state, and we're the last city you leave when you leave Rhode Island. Now, I know most of us are Rhode Islanders, so none of us would ever dream of leaving Rhode Island, but we are there. If you ever do leave, we are on the way out. So we can be very attractive in strategic locations for businesses, and we can be attractive by us helping. We have to help ourselves as a city to be attractive to others, and what comes along with that is public safety. So another big issue, or another key component of my campaign, will be to talk about public safety. We must be able to provide a safe place to live and work if we want to be attractive to businesses and new residents to come into the city. The crime index for Pawtucket right now is 15. What does that mean? A crime index of 100 is the safest, and we're at a 15. Now, please don't think I'm blaming or saying that, or putting the blame on our police force. I believe we have an excellent police force. We have wonderful leadership in place with our police. So I'm not saying that our police is the problem, but we're in an urban city, so there's going to be crime. So we need as my administration, we need to back up and help the police, not fight with the police, not ask the police to go to arbitration because we can't reach an agreement with them. We need to work together, we need to be fair, and we need to work together with the police so that as the police officers are out patrolling and doing their job of protecting us, they're not worried about job security. They're not worried about if they're going to have a contract or not. This current administration refuses to work with and help them get a contract where they're not worried about job security. They're not worried, so they don't have to worry about job security. They don't have to worry about what could be coming tomorrow, what their contract could look like, if they're going to be able to live, if they're going to be able to afford to continue in this job. So we need to work with them, not fight with them, to get them focused. If they know they have job security, if they know they're making a living wage, that's going to enable them to focus on policing and patrolling our great community. And that's what we want. That's what we're looking forward to. That's what we need here in Pawtucket. And then, on top of being attractive because we'll have better public safety, we also need stronger education. And again, I would not say that this is on our teachers. I've met and know many teachers here in Pawtucket who are wonderful, wonderful people, great teachers. They are impacting, influencing our next generation, the generation to come to continue to lead this city. So our education is vitally important to our city. What makes a city or town attractive to young couples? Young couples are what you need to come into a city and town to revitalize, to keep a city thriving. And what makes a city or town attractive to young couples is the school departments. You know, as if you have children, you know that you've always thought, well, things you would never think of before you have kids is where my kids are going to go to school, how they're going to be educated. And so you would want to be able to go to an area, community, where education is strong, where education is a focus, where education isn't just something that we have to put up with or something that we have to fund, but something that is thriving and causing people to say, hey, we want to move to this city or town because of their strong education. So I would love to see Pawtucket become one of those cities and towns with strong education. And again, we do that by having to support our teachers, support our administration, superintendents, principals, all the way down. And again, we do that by helping them. We do that by giving them the information, the curriculum, the support that they need to be able to be the best teachers that they can be in the classroom. Again, I believe we have wonderful talent. We just need to be able to help them, come alongside, partner with them to continue to push our education here and strengthen our education here in Pawtucket. And again, a lot of that also has to do with parental involvement. We would love to see parents involved, really get involved with their children's education, not just letting the city, I'll just let the city teach them this or that, or they'll learn that in school, so I don't have to help them learn whatever it may be. But our parent involvement is vital. Again, if you look at these cities and towns that have very good or top-rated school systems, you'll see that there's a lot of parental involvement in those cities and towns as well. So we need to get community involvement along with our education system to really push us over the top. I've been a lifelong resident of Rhode Island. I love Rhode Island. Now my family and I have lived in Pawtucket almost 14 years now, and we've grown to love Pawtucket as well as I've gotten involved and as I've sat on a few different city boards and committees here in town. I've really gotten to love the city, gotten to love the people, gotten involved with people, gotten involved with business owners, gotten involved with the community. It's been a wonderful experience, and that's what's really been pushing and driving me to run. Because a lot of people say, why would you run? Why would you go through this? Why would you put this much effort, the money, the time? And it's really, the biggest reason is my children. That's what started me in politics many, many years ago, is that I wanted them to be in a community that they were proud of. I wanted them to be able to be proud of growing up in Pawtucket, proud that they're from Pawtucket. And I saw the direction that the city was going, and it caused me to have to get involved. Because if we don't like how something's happening, we have to get involved. It's the only way we're going to affect change, is by getting involved and actually doing something. So I started doing something. I started working. I started getting involved in the city. I started, as I said, joining boards and different committees in the city to help in any way that I could. So now it seemed the only natural progression now to run for mayor. So that's why I'm running for mayor. I'm running as an independent this year as mayor. And why am I running as an independent candidate instead of a Democrat or a Republican? It was actually an easy decision. If you watch the news at all, if you're on social media at all, you can see across the country the great division that the two different parties are causing right now. We see great division on the Democrat side, and we see great division on the Republican side. So my thought of running as an independent is because I want to reach out to the entire community. I want to be involved with and a mayor for everyone, not just one particular party, not just one particular group of people, not just one particular group of donors, but I want to be a mayor for everyone, for all of the people of Pawtucket, all of the residents of Pawtucket. And I think right now in our history, it's probably one of the most divisive times that we've seen. It's probably the most divisive time that we've certainly seen in our lifetime. And in our country lifetime, yes, we've had a civil war, so that was probably a little worse than what we're seeing right now. But I would say we're a close second to what was happening, to what's happening today with the two different parties. So that's why, like I said, that's why running as an independent, I believe we can try to get rid of stereotypes on either side and really come together and really make an impact and make a change here in Pawtucket. I think one thing that we can all come together and all agree on, all of us that are here, residents of Pawtucket, we can all agree on how much we love Pawtucket and how much we want to see Pawtucket thrive. And so again, that's why I'm running, that's why I'm deciding this year to go all in and really commit to making change, really commit to running a campaign that we can all be proud of, running on issues that we can affect and change, running on strengthening our economy, running on strengthening our public safety, running on strengthening our school system. And then one of my biggest things that I would like to talk about, maybe not biggest, but maybe biggest for a lot of people, are our traffic cameras here in Pawtucket. I couldn't stop without saying something about our traffic cameras. So I can certainly promise and commit to not adding any new cameras, unlike the current administration. There was an article a couple weeks ago. There was an article, I should say maybe about 6 months ago. And the headline was, "The cameras are working. People are driving slower." So I read the article, and it said that the cameras are actually working. They're making people slow down. And so because of that, they're not issuing as many tickets. So now we're losing revenue from these tickets. So the article goes on to say, so now we're just going to add a lot more cameras all over the city. So now they're not just in schools, they're not just in school zones anymore. They're at the traffic lights. So those of you who aren't from Pawtucket tonight, be careful. Make sure you stop at the red lights. But they have them at red lights, intersections. So these cameras are now all over the place. And I don't think we shouldn't be increasing our revenue by taxing our people. And that's what this is. Yes, it's a fee, it's a fine, but it's a tax. We're taxing our residents to use our roads that we've already paid taxes on, that we're already supposed to have been paid for, and we're paying our property taxes, we're paying our fair share already, more than our fair share, and yet we're getting taxed again by these traffic cameras. So I will absolutely commit to not adding any new cameras, and I will completely commit to seeing what I can do with what we have. Again, I will not stand up here and promise you saying, day one, I'm going to eliminate every single camera, because I don't know if there's contracts, I don't know what may be in place to prevent something like that from happening. But I will tell you, I will look into that, and I will do what I can. I mean, the bare minimum that I would like to do to start right away would be, right now in our school zones, the cameras are on from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Now, I don't know about you, but I was very involved in my high school. I did all of the stuff that they offered, and I was rarely there till 7 o'clock. So I think what I'll immediately look into is trying to change it from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is a much more realistic time when people are out of school. And if there are people there past 4, there until 7, then they're probably going to be accompanied by an adult, because there probably aren't any children there out of school by themselves at 7 o'clock at night. So I think we could absolutely look into changing that and getting that at least changed from 7 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's what our bordering East Providence does. Their cameras in their school districts are on from 7 to 4. And so I don't see why we couldn't change ours to be 7 to 4 instead of 7 to 7. Except the current administration likes that income, where again, we don't want to depend on the taxation of our people for our income. We want to depend on our economic growth. We want to depend on other things to boost our economy, not just continuing to tax our people. So that is something that like I said, I would love to promise that I can eliminate them all, but I would not hate to promise that and not be able to do it. But I will absolutely commit to doing everything I can to either shortening times, or if we can getting rid of them. I think it's a much more realistic time frame and a much more realistic goal to go from 7 to 4 than 7 to 7 as it currently is. So I really do appreciate everyone who came out tonight. I really am thankful for all of you. You are all very important and very special to me. So I really appreciate you coming. Please feel free to stay. You can go right out to Cash Bar, finish up some food. I do have some sign-up sheets up front. If you do live in the city, there's a sign-up sheet for signs. Come and put down your name and address. So when my signs do come in, we'll get those signs right out to your yards. And then there's also a volunteer, which you don't have to live in the city to volunteer. So there's also a volunteer sign up. So as we stuff envelopes and as we go door to door and as we do all the fun things that are involved in running a campaign, we can all come together and do everything we can to make a big impact and a big difference here in Pawtucket. So again, I really appreciate you coming, and I can't wait. This year, this next few months are going to be an exciting time as we look to really change Pawtucket at its core. Thank you very much.